Hi guys, it's Nicole and Albert here from Relax My Dog. We're here every week answering all of your doggy related questions. Now this week we've had a lot of you asking about different problems that you're having when trying to groom your dog. So I'm going to go through our top 6 tips for how to groom your dog successfully and how to relieve any anxiety that they may have about the grooming process. Now, we've had a lot of you saying that your dogs get really scared when you do try and groom them. Now this is a really common thing with dogs, and it's usually because you're touching them in sensitive areas that they're not used to being handled in. So this is like their muzzle, their ears, around their eyes, their teeth, their paws. Any of these areas are really sensitive to dogs, so they can get quite anxious when you start handling them with it. Now our main tip for this is just to get your dog used to being handled in these areas. Now a classic one is paws. Albert's actually pretty good with his paws now, aren't you? And this is because I use a trick. Well, we use treats basically, don't we, Albie? So when he was a puppy, he really wouldn't let me touch his paws. It was really hard to touch his paws, wasn't it? Come up here so you can show. But all I did was I made sure that I was touching his paws more often, and every time he acted like this, rather than being scared or shying away, I gave him a treat and gave him loads of praise. So now I can touch his paws, I can clip his claws, I can put my fingers in between his toes, everything, can't we? And so this is just going to make sure that your dog gets used to being handled in these areas, and it's going to make them a lot less sensitive to these areas. So you can do it for anything. You can do it with their tail, their ears, any area which they're not used to being handled with. Another question that we get asked a lot is how to keep your dog's fur in control. Now our main tip for this is simply to make sure that you are brushing your dog once a day for about a minute. Do this outside so that all of the excess hair is not inside in your house, and this will just reduce the amount that your dog's going to shed indoors, so a lot less hoovering for you. Now another question that we've had about dogs' fur is about long-haired dogs, and how often do you have to brush your long-haired dog's coat? We recommend doing this at least once every few days, and if you don't do it this frequently, then unfortunately your dog's hair might get matted and tangled, and this can actually be a really painful thing for long-haired dogs. Sort of starts looking a bit like dreadlocks, and they end up having to be completely shaved to get rid of these dreadlocks. Okay, the next one, now we're getting into the muddy season. Our dogs are going on walks, getting muddy and wet, and we need to bathe them a little bit more regularly than usual. Now, some dogs are very scared of getting in the bathtub. It's a strange place for them to be, but our main tip for this is to make sure that you're not forcing your dog into the bathtub. You almost need to coax them in with treats. So the first time I put Albert in the bath, I just made sure there was lots of treats in there. Every time he went in, I gave him praise, I patted him on the head, and he got his treat. And I did this quite a few times over the period of about a week. And then by the time that I needed him in the bath, as long as he got that treat when he got in there, he was very calm. So this is going to reduce the anxiety of your dog. It doesn't matter what age your dog is. If your dog already has a fear of the bathtub, they are going to forget about this if they realise that every time they go to the bath, they're going to get a treat. Okay, the last one that we get asked very regularly is it safe to blow dry your dog? Now, once you've given them a bath, you do want them to dry off quickly, otherwise they're going to get all of your furniture soaked. Albert has a tendency to run round for about an hour after he's had a bath just to dry himself off. He's quite scared of the hairdryer, so I don't tend to use the hairdryer on Albert, but it is safe to do so, as long as you follow these tips. So you need to make sure that your hairdryer is on the lowest temperature possible. This is really important. The last thing that you want to do is burn your dog by accident, and then you are never going to be able to use a hairdryer on him again. You also need to make sure that you're holding the hairdryer at least a few inches away from your dog. That's a very important thing as well. And you also need to make sure that you are constantly moving the hairdryer around. You're not focusing it on one spot for too long, because even on a low temperature, this could actually burn your dog's skin. If your dog is scared of the hairdryer like Albert is, then I just recommend towel drying. Just get an old towel and have that as your pet's towel and just towel dry him. And usually they will, like I say, run around until they're dry anyway. So we really hope that you enjoyed today's video. We hope that we've given you some tips that you can use whilst grooming your dog. If you did enjoy the video, please do remember to give us a big thumbs up. Hey Albert, give us a thumbs up. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, or if you have any questions for me, I'd love to hear them. So just please put them in the comments section below and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. But that's it from us for this week, so we'll see you again next week. Bye! Say bye, Albie! Hi guys, it's Nicole and Albert here from Relax My Dog. We're here every week answering all of your doggy related questions. This week we're going to be cooking up some really great pumpkin Halloween treats for your dog. With Halloween just round the corner, these are going to be perfect for all the pooches on your street and in